It's been a minute. Okay. What up, everyone? Welcome back to Financial Education and Business. What up, everyone? Welcome back. So, obviously, we got some big news here. Company by the name of Swrm has gone IPO. The stock is exploding, and it's been insane today. Swrm defense stock just IPO'd up. I mean, it's up significantly as of today, like over 500%. So essentially what I'm going to do in this video is we're just going to go over the CEO, what the company offers, what's going on, so on and so forth. But just something that I did find kind of interesting, but some things that I found interesting, but we'll just go over some highlights here. February 12th, Swrm announces public filing registration. So they essentially submitted their S1 and everything else, going using the NASDAQ market ticker symbol SWMR. That's their ticker symbol. Okay. And then here's another news article. So this is a company that has actually used the drones in war. Think of Ukraine. I'm sure they're being used in um, Iran right now, and so, and I'm sure they're going to be used, by other companies out there. But here's a short video. Let's watch. Okay, so there you go. So that's just how the guy had a little goggle here where he kind of controls and see where the swarms are going. The fact, they're able right now in Ukraine, I'm sure they're in Iran, leading drone autonomy and swarm company announces 15 million Series A led by U.S. investor. So yeah, this is just talking about more about the offering. Here's their website, and something I do like about their logo is the fact that even their logo looks like a shield, which is pretty cool. Their website is pretty cool, shows a bunch of drones just flying around like birds. But in reality, these drones can be kind of created to kind of do certain kind of formations, and then you can also, it appears that these formations can be changed while the drones are still out there flying around. So they're saying our swarm technology enables fast, scalable deployment of low-cost uh, attributable drones built for coordination, redundancy, and adaptability system following for seamless operation across complex environments. Um, and on top of everything else, they have AI capabilities, and it seems like in Ukraine they did use that in some cases, so that is pretty interesting there. I don't know any drone company that is just automatically making decisions on their own, and this is where I believe where AI on edge AI is going to be one of the most important things going into this kind of industry. So they're built in the US. So our entire system, hardware, software, and electronics is developed and manufactured in-house in Michigan. They have a domestically since 2021. They have produced about 12,000 units last year, uh, until last year, and are expanding capacity 10x over the next 12 months. Their mission is strengthen U.S. drone industry based on reliability, repeatable manufacturing, and being able to scale. So some of the things here they kind of cover. Let me zoom out a little bit so we can see. Um, Am I zoomed out enough? Wow, their website, it kind of sucks, to be honest. Let me go down here. Yeah, their website isn't really up yet. Um, so essentially here it is, yeah. Cost effective, built in-house training, and operate from any device, cost effective, so on all over again. Something that they are kind of proud of is that they're interoperable, so they can perform on any platform. So from a software perspective, they say with the Swrm Defense Pilot app, operators can build custom missions on the fly from any device, set new waypoints, change speed profile, drone into present or fully custom swarm formations, stack multiple missions into a single flight, no code, no complexity, just real-time control. And so here is this quick video that they kind of put together. Let's see. All right, I guess these are all different types of formations that drones can have. And I can see like if I'm circling, okay, so they have preset conditions, drone count 100, and you can, okay, so you can have different drones doing different things and directions that they should be flying. Okay, and you can set waypoints for the drones by click of a button. That is pretty simple. So I imagine this obviously doing well when it comes to like, imagine this for farmers. So I can see farmers using something like this, as well as obviously the military who currently uses it. It looks like they're using some kind of AI here. As you can see, the website is very, very AI based as well. Pretty interesting. Seems pretty basic way to set up to make to build a custom maneuvers the drones should do. And then you see a whole bunch of military every time when you see their videos or when you see pictures, you see some kind of military presence. Mission ready in minutes. So it looks like they come in a box and they're pretty small. They come in a box and they are so our architecture enables single operation to deploy and launch a full drone swarm with minimal footprint using a simple rugged ground station and streamlined workflow. Let's see how this looks. Interesting, pretty cool. Seems very simple way to set up drones here. As you can see, they have their own facility in Michigan. Not very big, not very big at all, but the drones are pretty small. I mean, just imagine this from a movie script. Like, let's say you're filming a movie, you want to film some action movie, farmers, war. I could see these type of like swarm drones being very useful in in a lot of industries, but right now they are definitely used in war. So let's just quickly look at the company's information. So you have the CEO here, who has some experience. He's actually has experience in AI, in tech engineering. So he leads U.S. operations of Swarmers, the battlefield AI and drone swarm software company, whose tech enables single operator to control hundreds of drones, essentially. Here, this is the CEO, Alex Fink. He's been, he is, let's go into his past. As you can see, he went to the university here, software engineering. He was an intern. He looks like he's got years in software engineering, founder and CEO here. And then here he does some marketing, VR camera, umbrella marketing team. He does VP engineer. So here, defined an architecture specs, built an engineering team for scratch. Founder, CEO. Looks like he also did something here, which is kind of interesting. This is the CEO over the course of 7 years, 35 projects. So these include drone, military camera. So he is a co-founder of another company here around the idea of drones, cameras, military. So he has that experience. He's also a founder CEO of Other Web, full name, full time. It looks like that he was there for 3 years. President and U.S. CEO Swrm full time. So that's where the CEO is right now. So to look at a video that's actually useful here, here is I was able to create this really interesting video using
The
Google,
center of gravity
well, Google LM. I think it's pretty interesting. So let's just go ahead and watch it. We'll go from there.
in global defense has shifted. Winning future conflicts relies on coordinating intelligent software at scale rather than mass-producing physical hardware. This chart illustrates a critical military scaling problem. While cheap drone production has skyrocketed, human operator capacity remains flat. This dynamic creates a severe one pilot per drone bottleneck, limiting how many unmanned systems a force can actively deploy. Swrm Inc. operates specifically at this intelligence layer. They are a software-first defense technology company, developing autonomy and coordination platforms to allow a single human operator to manage massive drone swarms simultaneously. This excerpt from the company's prospectus overview highlights the financial implications of this shift, projecting the global military drone market will exceed a 12% CAGR through 2030. CAGR is an acronym for Compound Annual Growth Rate, representing the mean annual growth rate of an investment over a specified period. The decisive advantage on the modern battlefield belongs to the force that can scale automated software coordination to deploy disparate units as a single network. This document outlines Swrm's core software architecture. It relies on the Trident embedded drone operating system to provide mesh networking and hardware abstraction. Trident connects to Styx and Minus. Styx is a command and control interface, allowing operators to manage hundreds of autonomous drones. Minus is the artificial intelligence layer that enables collaborative behavior and autonomous path planning. This section of the prospectus validates their operational track record. Since 2023, drones equipped with Swrm software have executed over 100,000 combat missions in Ukraine. This cyclical flowchart visualizes the resulting data reinforcement loop. Combat missions generate a continuous stream of telemetry and sensor data that feeds directly into their machine learning models. Better data improves system performance, which leads to broader deployment, generating even more data. Direct exposure to active combat compresses their development iteration. While traditional defense contractors require months or years to test new technology, Swrm identifies capability gaps from operator feedback and pushes software enhancements to operational units within days. This excerpt from the chairman's letter highlights that the EW environment in Ukraine is the most intense on Earth. EW stands for electronic warfare, which involves using electromagnetic and directed energy to control the spectrum or attack the enemy. Swrm's technology is tested daily within these highly contested, communications-denied conditions. This diagram shows Swrm's vendor-agnostic architecture. Because their software is designed to integrate with drones from any manufacturer, military customers achieve interoperability across diverse platforms and avoid lock-in to a single proprietary hardware vendor. By 2026, their product roadmap expands this integration beyond aerial vehicles to coordinate thousands of systems across multi-domain operations. This includes unmanned ground vehicles, unmanned surface vessels, and third-party guided missile systems. Combining a vendor-agnostic platform with an operational data moat establishes a high barrier to entry. Companies without active battlefield access face significant limitations in achieving comparable autonomous capability maturity. The DoD and NATO allies have explicitly identified autonomous drone operations as urgent capability gaps requiring immediate investment. The DoD is the United States Department of Defense, and NATO is the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, an intergovernmental military alliance between North American and European countries. To capture this demand, Swrm uses a B2B to G model. B2B to G stands for business to government, meaning Swrm charges drone manufacturers a per-unit software licensing fee, and those manufacturers sell the integrated systems to military end users. As hardware production volumes scale up, Swrm's gross margins expand because the incremental cost to license additional software units approaches zero. This section of the prospectus summary details the financial realities of this early-stage enterprise. Swrm has incurred significant losses since its inception, and the document explicitly advises potential investors that there is substantial doubt about the company's ability to continue as a going concern. A going concern is an accounting term for a business that is assumed to meet its financial obligations and continue operating indefinitely. This excerpt outlines the strict regulatory risks surrounding artificial intelligence in warfare. To comply with international laws, Swrm utilizes a human-in-the-loop architecture. Human-in-the-loop is a system design that requires human interaction, ensuring an operator maintains authority over lethal force decisions and that AI modules cannot act independently. The proliferation of unmanned systems requires interops. The military force that effectively coordinates these autonomous networks at scale will secure the battlefield, positioning Swrm as a critical software layer for future defense operations.
There you go. I thought that was a pretty good video. I made that um, just using Google LM, which is pretty impressive that we can actually have all that. To go into the company's S1 a little bit more, um, and to kind of look at what the heck does a company do, um, and what are some of the risks that they're looking at. So overview of the company. So obviously we know we are launching the future of autonomous warfare through a combat-proven software-enabled military force deployed and coordinate drone swarm at a significant scale. So essentially selling drone swarms to the military while a hardware manufacturing compete and as the go-to in the increasingly commoditized market. Essentially, there's a whole bunch of companies out there trying to make drones and they're competing, and that's becoming very commoditized. We seek to establish ourselves as a critical software layer operating system for autonomous swarm operations, positioning us to capture increased value at the global military drone market experience experiences growth, projecting about 12% CAGR into 2030. So drone, uh, I guess drone capabilities, growing military demand for swarm defensive style drone warfare is there's a lot of demand for that. So they're playing in that industry, but not making drones, more of like selling the software. So they're combat proven. They're saying that in Ukraine since 2023, they've executed over 100,000 combat missions, followed by drones that were equipped with their Trident OS operating as at the varying degree of autonomy depending on each end user end user. So essentially here the government has used their product Trident OS to allow semi-autonomy drone warfare in Ukraine. I'm sure they have been used in Iran as well. They're not going to be forward about that. Our, while reading this, I think while I kind of read and try to understand this company, I do see an industry here that is really important, and that is for AIs to be for AI to be for an AI to make a decision at a split of a second. The data can't the data from the camera can't go back to a cloud server and then come back cloud server, and then a human makes a decision. and then it comes back to the drone, and then the drone reacts. No, I think at the end of the day, we're gonna need some kind of system that's like AI at the edge. So to give the drone what it needs, and uh, the drone itself has AI capabilities. It makes decisions right at the drone level, at the system level, rather than having to use the cloud. So a lot of the things that we're in the Internet of Things that we're starting to see, I think when it comes to investing, we got to look into companies that are, AI at the edge, and it's going to be important for a company like Drone because for companies developing AI systems around drones, because you know even two a fifth of a second could cost, a millisecond could cost, life or death decisions. So architecture capability favor industry dynamics. So the then our business model is specifically designed to capture value from a structural transformation into defense drone industry. As hardware manufacturers fragment, hundreds of new drone manufacturers emerging annually recent years, and hardware margins compete, we believe autonomous software is consolidating towards companies that with substantial operational uh, data set. So the company with the most data at the end of the day is going to win. And this company seemed to have experience in actual warfare and AI autonomous decisions when it comes to swarm drone warfare. Our per unit software licensing model creates high attractive unit economy that improves as the market scales. Our software licensing fees remain stable per unit, while our incremental cost to license additional units approaches zero. So essentially, their cost is going to stay like this. Their cost to issue more software kind of stays flat. But then as they sell more and more software, they're going to be even more and more profitable per software. And obviously, because of their experience, they're going to be able to have a whole bunch of data. And once again, swarms can be used in imagine movies and videos of farmers as well as military and a whole bunch of other applications that I can't even think about. But in the future, there it's not going to be humans standing there and defending all of these AI data centers. I think AI data centers are going to be almost as critical and important as nuclear bombs at the end of the day, if you think about it, because AI is so important that governments across the world are spending trillions and hundreds of billions of dollars. And if you don't have AI security, I think it's going to be a very, very big problem. So imagine, do you think a lot of these data centers are going to be just guarded by humans? I doubt it. It's probably going to be swarms of drones that fly around and secure the zone um, in, during the night, throughout the day, so on and so forth. So a company like this, you can definitely see the benefits. Vendor agnostic platform positioning for market capture. We believe our vendor agnostic architecture represents a fundamental strategic advantage, positioning us as a critical integration layer for the fragmented hardware ecosystem. By designing our software to integrate with drone from any manufacturer, we partner with leading manufacturers. So essentially, their platform can work with any drone, and all they have to do is probably download the software onto the drone, and then the drone is going to perform and use the software that the Swrm company has. Pretty cool. As a hardware manufacturer fragment, military forces require interoperability across diverse platforms. Once again, we don't care who makes the drones. We just care they use our platform for AI-enabled maneuvers. Multi-domain expansion and scaling roadmap. So this is how they think they're going to grow. We have systematically expanded from unmanned aerial vehicles to multi-domain operation, encompassing unmanned ground vehicles, unmanned surface vessels, and planned integrations with missiles and guidance kits. Their 2026 roadmap target coordinations of thousands of systems across air, ground, and maritime environments, positioning them to address full spectrum of unmanned systems requirements and significantly expanding their addressable market opportunity. So TAM. Um, so commitment and pipelines. So it looks like they have we have firm commitments representing executed contracts for software license, hardware integration services, and system deliveries, which are projected by our customer to take place over the subsequent 12 to 24 months, totaling about 16.3 million in projection revenue. They also expect to receive an additional 16.8 million in anticipated revenue over the same timeframe as outlined in so on and so forth in this existing customers. For aggregated total about 33.1 million expected revenue, recognized 60% of aggregated total as revenue in 2026. So 60% of the 33.3 million is expected to be received in 2026. And then obviously the rest 27, 28. So decisive competitive advantage. So their main advantage here is validation through the 100,000 missions flown by drones that were equipped with our Trident OS operating at a verifying degree of autonomy depending on each end user's equipment, unique position execution growth, and then the corporate information. So it looks like this is the company. They have two subsidiaries here, Autonomous Robotics LLC in Ukraine, and then 100% of Swrm Estonia. Some risk factors. There are some interesting risk factor the company kind of highlights here, which I thought was kind of interesting to look at. And that was some of the customers that they rely were kind of relying on. So annual gross revenue at least billion data with so boom boom boom. We may present only 2 years of audited financial statements. Obviously they're just brand new. They don't really have that much. Um So here you have their summary of financial statement. So revenue, as you can see, as a small company, you want to see growth, like fast expanding growth, especially if in this year they were, involved in Ukraine war. What do you think is 2025? They're talking about, okay, um, we have a new president, 2026. Now we're in Iran. You think we're buying drones or we're using their software? Yeah, most likely. Maybe Ondas might be playing some role there, but I have a feeling this company has the software. Gross margin, it looks like their gross cost kind of went down a little bit, but also their revenue did also go down. Um, that's normally how I'm going to judge a company. How's their expense? How's their revenue? I'm not going to judge them so much on net income, but obviously, as you can see, they have had about $8.5 million in net income loss, which is a little bit much there. Um, yeah, it's significantly grown, and this could be, I don't know exactly why they have such a big loss there. Um, um, we could quickly see why if we wanted to. We got 5 million selling and general administration expenses. Look at that, went to 2.7 million dollars here, and then there obviously research and development also went up significantly, going from 1.4 million to 5.2 million total operating expense between 24 and 25. So significant growth here, and you know obviously for a company that's you doing a lot of technology, there's going to be a lot of research and development expenses as expected. They're a small company, and now they're raising a whole bunch of money through equity. So we'll see if that is a good move or not a good move. But the stock is definitely up significantly. It was like I think almost 600% increase. Um, cash equivalents. So they went $9.3 million working capital, 8.2 total assets, 10 million total liabilities, 1.3 million dollars. Total convertible preferred, they have about 19. Total stockholders equity, they were pro forma about 12.6. Now they're about $10 million. Um, if we look a little bit more into the risk factors, so something they do highlight here is risk. We have incredible significant operating loss. So since they started their operation, the 8.5 million to our net loss is 8.5 million to 2.1 million for the year ending December 2025 to 24 respectively. So 8.5 net loss in 2024 and 2025, and then they lost essentially more money in 2025 than they did in 2024. And we had accumulated deficit of approximately 10 million, 10.6 million. To date, we have financed our operations through equity securities. So that's one. And then because we have only received launched our products, a small number of the they rely on a very small number of customers. So December 2025 to 24, between these 2 years, one customer accumulated for substantially all of the revenue. Let's see. If that is a government, it's no problem. But if it's not the government and it's just like maybe other companies, that might be a problem. But the fact that almost all of the revenue in between these 2 years with only one company, it is kind of scary. But something to say about this company is that they're almost like, they're a platform. They're not a drone manufacturing company. They don't make drones, which is kind of interesting um, to look at them that way. And when we see a lot of companies that are doing well nowadays, it's not the hardware manufacturing companies that really are winning. I mean, yes, maybe you have Nvidia, AMD, they actually produce the hardware, but the companies that are the future winners are, what do they do with the products that Nvidia, AMD are producing? So the AI innovative companies are gonna platforms or marketplaces are gonna win. So from that perspective, if they are system agnostic, it doesn't matter. They can collaborate with a whole bunch of different drone companies to make sure that as they're building their drones, they consider this platform, and then this platform here, Swrm, becomes the main platform all drones kind of are able to connect to, no matter what company they sell to. So pretty interesting here. So failure to establish our maintenance, blah 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 blah, and then there is a substantial doubt about ability to continue ongoing concerns. I think there's some kind of loss. So we have prepared cash flow forecasting. Um, if the unmanned system market do not experience significant growth, we may run into stuff. Negative customer perceptions regarding communicating unmanned system include industry could have. So essentially, there's a lot of people that don't like the whole idea of AI in drones, and so that could cause major issues politically. Um, and despite them not being able to, let's say, the people in society may have problems, but a lot of these drones are more for the platform might be used more for farming and warfare rather than your everyday John who wants to own you know drones and use them to do whatever in the city. So definitely, they're kind of highlighting that there are difficult issues to navigate in the development of use of AI, which may result in reputational harm or liability, failure to introduce new or innovative products that have AI capabilities could put us at a competitive disadvantage, essentially like Ondas and other companies out there, or Lockheed Martin can also make their own stuff. If we are unable to hire retain, train, qualify personnel, participate in software engineering, and so on. Um, Advanced changes in the economy. So these are all kind of like warnings and so on and so forth that from a risk perspective and all the things that are worth considering. And this is a whole new industry when it comes to like plugging in AI into a drone. Um, so let me just go down and see if there's anything there's anything worth looking at here. Maybe revenue, looking at 2024, 2025. We saw these numbers already. Now that we've kind of have an understanding of what the company does and what they have done, looks like research development expense. Yeah, yeah, we know that already. Cash use in operating activities, cash use in investing activities, and financing activities. Business. So Swrm is a provider of autonomous drone. We kind of looked at that. And these actually, let's talk about this real quick. So these are the software systems that they have, autonomous Swrm software platform. So here, as you can see, they have Stix AI command control, so comprehensive platform enabling operators to manage swarm ranging from dozens to hundreds of autonomous drones. Um, Minas autonomy and collaborative AI. Advanced AI enable autonomous operational collaborative behavior across heterogeneous drone swarm from multiple manufacturers. So coordinating and mission execution, enabling shared situational awareness, adaptive dynamic battlefield conditions. And then Trident, proprietary operating system providing mesh network, military-grade encrypted video streaming and hardware abstraction capability, creating a standardized software layer enabling any drone platform to integrate with Swarm ecosystem, which is pretty cool. Once again, they are a platform. So Trident is a platform that any drone can plug into. Majority defense forces, including U.S. Department of Defense, NATO allies, and other democratic nations, have identified autonomous drone operation collaborative combat aircraft as critical, capable gap requiring immediate investment. And once again, we're going to look at a video here that I have pulled up where the United States Congress, they are discussing this, and the DoD is talking about this and the importance of having these autonomous markets, autonomous drone or AI capable swarm like drone capabilities. Um, so as a hardware unit cost decline, blah, blah, blah. So software licensing, manufacturing. So we license, so it looks like here we license our system software stack on a per unit basis with price ranging from $250 to $6,000 per unit depending on a drone type, capability level, integration complexity. So this is business to government model enabling manufacturers to enhance product with advanced autonomous capabilities without developing proprietary swarm technology. So you could be an amazing drone company and you just don't need to build the software portion because you can just license that through Swrm. Pretty interesting. White label integration. So for manufacturers requiring turnkey solutions, we provide white labeled offering where we coordinate hardware sourcing, perform software integration, conduct system testing, develop complex operational systems. The pricing range for this is about 750, 30,000 per unit, depending on the platform complexity, sensor payload, and mission specific customization. Okay. They have direct government sales for select strategic customer or urgent operational requirements. We offer complete drone set directed to military organizations, typically priced approximately 45,000 per set, consist of 10 integrated units. I'm assuming 10 integrated drones cost about $45,000. Command and control systems are priced between $25,000 to $50,000, depending on the scale and customization. We also provide time and material engineering service for complex integrated projects. So interesting. Our strategy is to drive growth by delivering combat-proven, vendor-agnostic platform that fundamentally transform how military forces deploy and operate unmanned systems at scale. Leveraging rapid development and deployment cycles and operational. So we believe our operation deployment in Ukraine in 2023 provided a strategic advantage unbelievable to competitor, unavailable to their competition in traditional peace times. Maintenance platform agnostic. So I mean, really, blah blah blah. Building towards Western market regulation compliance. While initially deployed in urgent operational environments with abbreviated procurement timelines, we are developing our product roadmap to achieve compliance with key defense procurement standards, the NIST, the Defense Federal Acquisition Regulations Implement, CMMC, and DAA, so on and so forth. So essentially compliance. Development of comprehensive ecosystem through strategic integration partnerships. Customers, yeah. So essentially, this is a customer flow, business to business to government, end user service through our customer. So while not our direct customers, the ultimate end user for Swrm enabled system are military forces and defense organizations, including National Defense Forces, allied military organizations, and NATO. So license agreements with SMS, manufacturing operation, competitors. The autonomous swarm and multi-drone coordination market is highly competitive and rapidly evolving. Principal competitors include Palladium, AI, Swrm, Arrow, Autonoide, Autonodine, I guess, AI, Arc Robotics, Skydio, and Shield AI. Additionally, large defense prime contractors, including Anduril. Yep, Anduril's pretty big. Northrop Grumman, Lockheed Martin, so on. L3 Harris also are specific threats. Many competitors have substantially greater financial resources, established government relationships. Yes, but a lot of times with a lot of these larger companies, takes time for them to actually develop all these drones. Not only does it take time, but they also are products are way more expensive. They charge you for like for a screw, for a little baby screw, because these are large um, companies. They'll charge like maybe a tiny screw would they'll charge like $700, or maybe that's exaggerated, $80 for like a tiny screw that would hold one part of the drone down. And so because of that, the manufacturing of these mass amount of drones could be very, very expensive. If anything, you can see a company like this being more in demand because they can quickly and cheaply produce a whole bunch of drones. These other competitors, I don't know if they are actually public. So let's see. Are any of these companies publicly traded? Let's see. Validation through war. Mm, mm, mm. So none of the companies you listed are direct competition. Um, so I don't think, yeah, European autonomous ground robots, autonomous drone, US, Skydio, and then Shield AI, AI pilot for drones and aircrafts. Yeah, I doubt it. Drones. So it doesn't seem like they have too much competition really that are at least publicly traded. And so most of the time, the way it works is customer fighting income. The first to market is always released the winner. Mission ready, day and night. Yeah, looks like they do have some competition out there, but the first of its kind. Um, a, a family of flying robots working together on one platform. This seems a lot more like something the police would use. Um, let's see what this one is like. All right, let's see if actually this company has, if we can see through their map and national industry products. So drones, they have docks, autonomous platforms, software integration, and services. Okay, what about drones? This is their they're saying is their competition. I don't know if they actually have Shield AI, XBAT, Earth is our runway. So this is a private company, and this is one of their competition. Enterprise Solutions Visions Solution, the autonomous team behind our platform, post-flight debrief, um, aircrafts, hive mind, runtime environment, pilot autonomous category, forge commander. Let's see this one. Reference implementation pilot providing, okay, best in class uh, perception and cognition capabilities, state estimate, provides state estimate mapping. I mean, okay, so Hive Mind. So Hive Mind Enterprise. So these are the different platforms they have. These are the solutions, Hive Mind solutions, benchmarks, Hive Mind Vision. So this company seems to be a little more serious, maybe. I don't know, because I haven't really read much into them. It looks like they got two aircrafts here, XBAT and VBAT. And I don't know if these are Swrm like drones. This is the XBAT. So it's like an independently looking flying drone. Has some kind of rocket on it, and it comes back and lands. Okay. The world's first AI piloted VTOL fighter jet. So something like this would be Andro. It's also kind of building something like this. The one for Andro, are more of they fly alongside your jet and make decisions or help you make decisions. Create endless dilemmas for adversaries, so you can take them off from anywhere. Uh, Mobile, land-based, marine. Okay. Um, air to air, air to surface, and then invisible to electricity. Um, so okay, yeah, takeoff and landing, full takeoff and landing on their own. Because you can have a whole bunch of them sitting together like this. So the difference with these are they're a little larger. They're not small to where you can actually do swarm. Um, you can do swarm, but they're a little large and can be seen a little easily. I think and doesn't seem like just a platform um, like vendor agnostic platform like Swarmer is, powered by HiveMind. Autonomy at the edge. Shield AI Combat provides an AI pilot maneuver XBAT built to fly and fight in teams of XBAT. Also operates in GPS and communication jammed environments. AI-powered mission autonomy, intelligent and collaborative XBAT team, machine speed, ODD, a loop, combat proven autonomy. Operationally validated autonomy since 2019 deployed on, it looks like they were deployed a 15 platform real world deployment in most highly contested modern battlefields. Hive mind, okay, like where? Okay, this is that was the XBAT. This is the VBAT. Okay. So securing border, hunting, drug, fighting. Okay. ISR plus target drone differently. Result, performance, safety. Combat evolved on the harshest EW battlefield. I am so tired. So they can take off and land on their own. Quite large. And once again, these are large. They're going to be way more expensive. And it's not just a platform. They actually manufacture these. So it's a little bit different. I don't know if Swrm should call them competitors. So commitment, they talked about it. This is their commitment. Um, do, 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 their competition. Yep, they have a lot of commitment. Platform. This is their team here. This is their age. So middle age. Most everybody's non-employee directors. Chief Executive Officer, global. Let's read into who these people are real quick. And then you got U.S. Chief Financial Officer, does not appear in or surrounding page. Yeah, right. Okay. Who is? Let's look up this guy since he is the main co-founder for a Ukrainian startup that specialized in building AI systems. So Serhiy Kuperinok. I don't know. Vision Swarmers to Swarmer software bringing used Ukrainian military. Vision Swarmers to revolutionize. Okay, so that's a Ukrainian. Chief Executive Officer. All right. Yep. It's a quick description of everybody on the team. Anyways, cool. Finally, we're gonna end the video here. This is kind of a hearing they're having here. DoD leaders testify on unmanned aerial systems. This is, as you can see, May 1st, 2025. So let's watch this video.
AI with data to be able to identify and pair those with weapons, and then on the intercept, not only on kinetic, but on non-kinetic and
ways to go to keep up with the threat and exceed the threat.
General Collins.
I would say from the Army, we're making progress, but we still have much to go on sense. As mentioned, we need to get the better ability to deconflict. There's a lot of, things that are out there that we need to discriminate these targets, understand what it is. On the decide piece, use AI with data to be able to identify and pair those with weapons. And then on the intercept, not only on kinetic, but on non-kinetic and low collateral so that we can lower the cost curve and be able to get after some of the threats that are swarms and things that go into an autonomous mode.
I think about the Patriot missile systems and things like that.
Yep.
Small dollars taking out big dollars.
Right.
And General Stewart.
I assess we've had some great success in the Middle East, leveraging against Group 3 one-way attacks using Coyote, APKWS, and then SM2, 3, and 6. So that was the most important and dangerous threat, the Group 3 one-way attack. Now we're seeing both home and abroad the Groups 1 and 2 smaller for swarm and mass attack.
And Mr. Beck, you mentioned that you visited Ukraine and you went to the tunnels where I guess they're producing these drones at a very low cost. How would you, if you could in this environment, how would you compare our capabilities to do the same or better to scale compared to Ukraine?
Well, I mean, I think that we need to be able to scale at a whole other level of scale. But maybe I'd make two comments. First one is that what I saw there was very impressive because you got literally in basements and 3D printers, developers, together with warfighters, coming up with an incredibly iterative process to move, our system is not built to do that, which is why we right now buy 4,000 or 5,000 drones a year in our system, and there are 4,000 a day being produced over there. So we're on a different scale. One thing I would that we're doing to try to get after this or help to is to link the incredible capability that we have for hardware and software in some of these emerging companies who just don't have the scalability yet with the incredible capability in advanced manufacturing that we're now seeing in the United States, everything from digital engineering all the way through the 3D printing, putting those two groups together and giving them an opportunity to effectively find each other so both can scale, which is strategic for us, that blue manufacturing initiative that I mentioned.
Thank you. Yield back.
Thank you, Mr. McGuire. Now go to Mr. Bell.
And things that go into an autonomous mode.
I think about the Patriot missile systems and things like that.
Yep.
Small dollars taking out big dollars.
Right.
And General Stewart. And Mr. Beck, you mentioned that you visited Ukraine and you went to the tunnels where I guess they're producing these drones at a very low cost. How would you, if you could in this environment, how would you compare our capabilities to do the same or better to scale compared to Ukraine?
Well, I mean, I think that we need to be able to scale at a whole other level of scale.
We need to be able to scale at a whole new level of scale. So there you have it. Essentially, here's this interview. Pretty impressive. They're going through and talking about the importance of drones, and they need to scale. And as you know, the government has got billions of dollars they can invest into this. So this is what I wanted to cover today. I know I haven't been making videos, but I hope this was helpful. Talked about the company here. Let's quickly look at the stock, see where it is at today. So this is Swrm. The company is up a lot. As you can see, during the day, they were up 520%. And then after hour, an additional 44%. So essentially closing at 564% for the day. Pretty impressive. The company went IPO the 17th today. They went IPO at $5, and they've just been rocketing the entire day. Would I buy some? Now, I don't know if I would buy or not buy. But it is really tempting to do so. But it really is never a good idea to buy a stock that is taken off like this just in IPO stage. The company is saying they're going to be able to make about $33 million this year, and about 60% of that they're going to be able to get. Um, and then the rest they'll get in 2027. And of course, they're gonna have to get new customers, and majority of the revenue really comes from one customer. Especially they said in 2024 and 2025, they got most of their money from one customer. So that makes you think, if they lose that one customer, that's making them that $33.1 million for those 2 years, it could be a problem. But because they're a platform and not a drone manufacturing company, they just have to be able to work with a whole bunch of companies that make drones and become the platform. Think of a company like HIMS. HIMS is just a platform, and now selling Nova's products, Eli Lilly's products, and they sell some of their own products as well. Um, they have a whole bunch of different types of like AI capable products. They can license out. I can see like farmers, maybe movie industries, war, all these type of I guess business outlets that might be interested in this company. So there is demand, especially from government, because they need this, and we're seeing war that is going on right now. We're seeing, especially something like this, going to be important when it comes to national defense, ally defense. Imagine, um, I'm gonna imagine that like these types of things are gonna be important when it comes to like aircrafts, right? I mean, um, ships that carry airplanes, um, aircraft carriers. Um, think of the wall, right? The border. They're gonna need some of these drones. And something they talked about in that video that we were looking at is um, being able to destroy very expensive products using very cheap um, products. So this is some of the problem that we're having right now in Israel and Iran, is that they're fighting back and forth, and Israel's launching really expensive rockets, and Iran is launching very cheap rockets. And so the the way that the war is going really is kind of like really expensive for one and not for the other. So US cannot keep spending billions and billions of dollars on these huge missiles and so on, but being taken out by these ro- cheap rockets or cheap drones that are made by the enemy. So definitely, I do see an industry for this. The company's up a lot. It's $382 million market cap. Most likely by tomorrow, it's gonna hit 500 million, maybe, probably. Does it deserve that? I don't know, but it's gonna be a lot of volatility. If we want to, you know, compare another company that's out there that does, drone related stuff here, is actually, let's just do this and let's look at um, drone companies that I've been tracking. So if we look at drone companies here, these are some drone companies. As you can see, their market cap, let's filter this. The biggest one is NOC and 17 billion kilos, um, AVAV, Joby, Ondas. They're not, these are not directly uh, direct competition to Swarmer, but they are kind of important. They are kind of important to just see, like from a market cap perspective, where they are um, from some of the drone companies that I was able to pull in here. So they are right now at 320. They're gonna most likely get up here in the 500s. So they're getting up there, you know, out of nowhere. But their biggest their biggest thing right now is that partnership they actually do have with the U.S. government. I think, especially in Ukraine, they were we can just say they were part of the U.S. government use their platforms, and the fact that they have AI capabilities just gives them that much more of a boost. Um, so I don't know. I mean, Andas is at 5.1 almost billion, so maybe there's potential there. So yeah, I mean, to be honest, maybe tomorrow I'll pick up $500 worth, whatever. Just hold it, see what happens. If it drops to, it may drop significantly, to be honest. Nothing just goes up this much and stays up there. The company is going to need money. And one of the things companies do when they need money is, I mean, 100% we know they're going to need money. And that's for the research development. And also, imagine a lot of the employees are going to get a lot of stock-based compensation. And so, um, and early investors are probably going to want to get out at 500 and almost 600% return. So there may be significant dips, but maybe in the long term, this is what the industry is looking for. So if you believe that, maybe it's worth picking up, but the company will try to liquidate you. They'll probably end up selling more shares into the market to raise money for marketing, research, development, expanding their operations, so on and so forth. So I don't know. I mean, they're still a very, very small market cap company. So this would be like micro cap, nano cap actually, nano cap company. So they are pretty small still, but who knows where they can go? I mean, they went from 5 to 30. That's pretty scary. It's kind of tough to hold on to a company that's gone almost $600. But maybe tomorrow, if this company kind of goes down a little bit, it'd be good. Um, I wanted to remember this company. I wanted to buy this company when it IPO'd, and this just exploded. And this is Firefly. And obviously, if you know this company, all they do is kind of rockets and sending stuff to the moon, and they've done some missions um, with NASA. And initially, when this company went public, I was like, "Oh, this is going to be worth buying." And what happened? Well, it went up from 20, around 19, $20. It went up to like 30, and then it went back down to is that what it is? Now let me zoom out. Yeah, there it is. It IPO'd at 50, went up to 73, and it dumped all the way down to $13. Never bought the company, but just seemed because the stock was taken off, I was tempted to buy some. And so a lot of times IPOs are really difficult to get into, and you can get burnt significantly. Sometimes it might just be worth waiting for the stock to take a breather, and then worth actually like jumping in um to see if you actually if it's actually worth jumping in. I mean, if you buy a little bit of share, keeps running, let it run. But like otherwise, it might be better to just watch the company. I also wanted to do the same thing with Figma. Figma is another company that IPO'd. They're obviously website design, AI, like Base 44 from Wix. So this company, IPO'd at 70, went up all the way to 143, tempting to buy, but now we're sitting at $27. So I don't know what you want to do in this case, but when we look at a lot of examples, even some of the best companies, great ideas, the stock goes up and takes a big breather for some time. So if you want to keep the company on your radar, you can buy some shares, hold on to it, and then continue to track what's going on. But never go big, especially when it's up this much. Um, then maybe Maybe tomorrow, this stock most likely is going to be in the 50s, maybe $60, and it's going to dump right back down. So that's my recommendation. Not financial advice, not just entertainment, but educational. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe. I know this is a long video covering a lot, talked about the government actually saying, hey, we need this. Swarm, cheap AI related drone companies. This is Department of Defense. They're holding a hearing on this. Talked about the company's S1 filings, some of the risks, the revenue that they're making, the experience they've had in Ukraine, um, some of the platforms they have, and how much they charge for the platform. So we've talked about a lot. If you have any questions, make sure you leave it in the comment. If you like this video, make sure you go ahead and subscribe. I'm gonna try to post whenever I can. This might be a stock that I follow, and maybe I might just buy a couple of shares to just track how the company does. But that's everything I got. I hope you have a good night, and I guess see you in the next video.